Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros. This is the Fantasy Football live stream. It is me, Joey P. Joe Pizzapia. With me today is Mr. Big Pot Energy, Andrew Erickson himself. Let's go. Our guy John is running the stream today. He's training hard. It's like a Rocky movie back there for the last couple of weeks there. He's lifting up large logs and carrying them up snowy hills. Erickson, you're a big fan of the Rocky training, I know as well. How many eggs did you drink this morning?
I start every day with 2 raw eggs.
Nice.
Crack them right open. Don't even drink any water before I wake up. Raw eggs first, and then I'll take a trip to the bathroom. But besides that, good to go.
There you go, everybody. That's how we're starting things today. If you've got questions, we've got answers. Drop them here in the chat. Don't forget to like the stream and subscribe to Fantasy Pros YouTube. We're hanging out, taking your questions. So there's a lot of football to talk about, a lot of situations. I feel like we need some therapy here when it comes to Josh Jacobs and Jonathan Taylor. Lots of confusing things. We're going to jump right into it. I want to jump into it before we get to the first question here. We got to talk about Jonathan Taylor here because it's kind of funny. Where on one hand, the Colts are saying to Jonathan Taylor, you're not worth that much. And then to the rest of the NFL, they're saying he's worth a whole lot. We want like a first round pick for him. So it's a little odd in terms of the Irsay's value chart. I don't know what that chart looks like. Looks like maybe some abacus that you had in first grade where you're just moving beads back and forth in Jim Irsay's office. But at the end of the day, we continue to see a very strong, I would say, discount on Jonathan Taylor. I literally just did a podcast with our boys Bogman and Welsh on ITL, and Adam Ronis was the guest, and Ronis and I are always in the thick of it in all these expert leagues, in the finals against each other so many times, and we see things the same way. And we both said the same thing, Erickson, which is there hasn't been a discount enough yet on Taylor that either of us are interested in the second round, even maybe potentially to the third because of the players that are on the board that we like more. Where are you at with Jonathan Taylor right now? Because I think everybody's looking at this as this great big swing for upside, but at the same time, are we worried about swinging and missing and just ruining our fantasy season before it starts?
I think for me, round 3 is where I feel comfortable pulling the trigger. So yeah, I agree. I'm out on round 2, but I mean, when you get to the start to the round 3 running backs, you start to run into running backs that have question marks and problems. Like there is a big issue with a lot of running backs that go in the rounds 3 and round 4. So yeah, Taylor has risks, but what running back doesn't have risk in that range? And if Taylor's playing football, like there's really only like a handful of guys I'd rather have over him for fantasy football purposes. So yes, do I know if he's going to get traded or not? I mean, I don't know at this point. I mean, I would probably lean towards that probably end up happening. We saw McCaffrey get traded last year. Like,
did
the overall 101s play, and he was fine from a fantasy perspective. He was even better. So if a team is going to trade for Jonathan Taylor, then I think that's a plus for his fantasy value. If he stays with the Colts, look, he's going to be a bell cow because they clearly have no reason to want to monitor his workload because they don't want to sign him to a long-term deal. So, and he said earlier on in the offseason that like he signed a rookie contract. Like he's still under his rookie deal. So, and he said he would play it out. So I think that he's going to play, whether it's for the Colts, whether it's for the Colts at another team at a different point during the season. Teams might get desperate. Injuries happen and they want to trade for Jonathan Taylor at the trade deadline, similar to what happened to Christian McCaffrey. The Colts are 0-6. It's like, well, we're just going to trade Jonathan Taylor for a third-round pick because we're not going to re-sign him. So let's just trade him for a third-round pick. So they
it's hard to see a suitor right now. I mean, I look around the league and I don't really see one that makes a whole lot of sense. Like, I don't think the Bears want to get in this business.
Well, it's because everybody's healthy right now. So like, that's the thing.
Right.
It's like and that's why it's funny that Miami came up as a team because they had one of the running backs get hurt. Etienne got hurt. So they're like, oh, like now they're in the market for Jonathan Taylor. It's
but he's week to week. So, I mean, is that enough to start burning draft capital to bring in Jonathan Taylor? I don't know.
I wouldn't do that why, especially we saw Mike McDaniel's buddy, Kyle Shanahan. Hey, if there's a running back worth trading for, go get him. So wouldn't shock me potentially if they were to make a move. If Jeff Wilson, Raheem Mostert, those guys are not necessarily the most durable players. And if Miami thinks that they are a contender, start the season off hot, let's get JT in here. And with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, it's a pretty explosive offense. So I think for me, just when people ask me about Jonathan Taylor, I'm like, look, if he's there in round 3, I'm going to draft him. I think.
All right, well, here, I'm going to throw some names. Let's test it. Let's test the waters here, Erickson. Najee Harris or Jonathan Taylor? I'm taking Harris. Who are you taking?
I'm taking Jonathan Taylor because he's actually good.
Wrong answer. I'm going to take Najee Harris. He is good. You all forgot he was good because last year the Steelers were trash. That's why. The offensive line's better. He is a tough SOB running the football. I want Najee Harris. What about Rhamondre Stevenson or Jonathan Taylor?
I have Taylor one spot ahead of Rhamondre. So Taylor for me.
Also wrong. I will say that. So there you go. We're just batting 1,000 here. Dare I say Travis Etienne?
Jonathan Taylor.
Okay. That's where I would go into the Jonathan Taylor well. So now we're finally getting along together. So let's go ahead and let's get into some of the questions that you've got for us here. Let's start with Been Through It. And boy, oh boy, do I understand what you're talking about. Been through it. Do you guys draft differently in full versus half PPR, like wide receivers over running backs and vice versa? This is a great question. Been through it. Here's the thing. In the half PPR, I am very conscious of guys who have touchdown equity and good offenses. And that doesn't necessarily mean position so much as exactly what I just said. So when it gets to those, not so much the first round guys, second round guys, we start to get to 3, 4, 5. That's when I start to really disseminate between certain players and what the touchdown equity might be for them in their respective offenses. Regardless, I'm still a heavy wide receiver build. I know in half, some people will start to go running back earlier than I will. But Erickson, for me, if I'm drafting early, I still want Tyreek Hill. I still want Jamar Chase. I still want Jefferson. If I'm in the middle, that's where I'll take Bijan. That's where I'm more comfortable with one of those guys there. If CMC should fall, which he won't. Or at the tail end, I'm back to wide receiver again because I can't say no to A.J. Brown or C.D. Lamb or Amon-Ra St. Brown or anyone named last name Brown, basically. For you, what's your difference between wide receivers and running backs in the half versus full PPR in terms of your approach?
I would agree with you with the thinking about touchdown equity. Some receivers just don't score touchdowns.
Right.
And those are the guys that you don't want in half PPR because they're never going to separate themselves from the field. Whereas in full PPR, you want those target monsters, like the volume monsters. Volume matters more in PPR. Like if you think that this player is really a volume-based play, you want that player in PPR, and that goes for wide receivers and running backs. But in half PPR, it's all really about touchdowns. Like you want running backs in good offenses versus running backs that are going to get a lot of volume. So a guy like J.K. Dobbins, for example, like I would value him much higher in half PPR than full PPR because I think he's a zero in the passing game. But I think he has double-digit touchdown upside in that Ravens offense if he is their bell cow running back. So that's kind of just one example. And I do want to bring up as well with half PPR versus PPR, quarterbacks are different. I think you should draft differently as well. Quarterbacks separate and score more points in half PPR than the field because every other position is just scoring less points because it's only half PPR. Whereas in PPR, you can get by, I think, a little bit more waiting a little bit longer at quarterback because the positional players just score more points because you're getting a full point per reception. So the gap in terms of production of what elite quarterbacks give you is larger in the half PPR setting versus a full PPR setting.
All right, let's get to some more questions here before we do. Just a reminder out there, Andrew Erickson's FFPC league is full. You can't play in Andrew's league anymore, but you can still play fantasy football and you can still win millions of dollars because Fantasy Pros Championship at FFPC is heating up this summer. You could join the action and compete for a piece of that $6 million prize pool, including the gigantic, enormous, incredible $1 million grand prize for playing fantasy football. And you also get free subscriptions to Fantasy Pros and to Betting Pros. And you can enter now at fantasypros.com/championship. And you can use that promo code Fantasy Pros for $25 off your entry. So put your fantasy football prowess, your knowledge to the test. There are 12-team leagues. That's how it works. You manage them. There's no trading, but it's waivers, lineups, all that fun stuff like that. Then the best teams move on to the championship round. But don't wait because the spots are filling up again. Andrew's league's already filled up. So many of the leagues are already filled up. So go get your discount. Use Fantasy Pros promo code. Get the discount, $25. Go to fantasypros.com/championship. Sign up for the FFPC because I know you're like me and you can't get enough drafting. You can't get enough fantasy football. So go do that. Let's get to the next question here. Serial Killer Kyle is next here. He's not a real killer. He just means like he crushes bowls of cereal in the morning. Like just crushes a bowl of Lucky Charms. Just like, and then he drops the spoon right in the bowl. It's awesome. I have first pick in a startup dynasty half PPR. Should I go Jefferson or McCaffrey? I say you go Chase, neither. Your thoughts, Andrew Erickson? My reasoning is I know who Chase's quarterback is going to be for the next, 6-7 years, and it's going to be Joe Burrow. I don't know what Jefferson's is going to be in the next couple years, and McCaffrey is a running back, so I'm certainly not investing there first. Your thoughts?
Yeah, for me, it's Chase, and I'm surprised he didn't actually mention Bijan. instead of, I mean, I'd rather have Bijan than
I would too.
McCaffrey, but I would rather have the wide receivers, so I would go Chase as well.
Yeah, and look, I don't care if it's half PPR, full PPR. I don't care if it's no PPR. Like those are the guys, I have negative PPR. Every time you catch a ball, I'm taking a point away from you, Erickson. That's the league I want to be in. Daniel Atwood is back. Daniel, a good friend of the show, always here on our live streams. I'm picking at the 101 in the Superflex IDP. Ooh, I just did an IDP draft today. Do I go quarterback with my second or third pick or wait? Listen, if I were you, I'd be going quarterback with that first pick. Just take Mahomes or Hurts and just make your life a lot simpler, because in those super flex streets, it's getting rough out there at the QB position. I want to lock that in. You're guaranteed to get two really good players on the way back to you at the 1-1 when it comes back to you in the second and third round from every mock I've run and every real super flex draft, and I've in a lot of them. That to me has been the strategy that's worked out every time. You're going to be looking at the Garrett Wilsons and Amon-Ras. You might even get lucky in some of the running backs. I mean, I got Nick Chubb in flex. It was crazy. In the third round, he made it all the way back to me in that super flex, and I was at the 2 spot. So, Erickson, that's what I say. At 1-1, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm taking a quarterback. And then I think that picking 1-1 is like super ideal in Superflex, because that way you can see if there is a run on that second tier of quarterbacks, or if everyone just punts off second quarterback. So I think it's a big edge picking this high in Superflex. And yeah, just pick your flavor of quarterback, whether it's Mahomes, I like Lamar, whether it's Hurts, just pick your favorite guy and then just wait.
All right, let's get to this one. Marcus DeLeon. Thoughts on Michael Thomas? The floor is yours, Erickson.
The milk does not become unspoiled when it comes to Michael Thomas. So
it does not become unspoiled.
The milk has been spoiled for 3 years.
Was it?
Michael Thomas has been injured and useless for 3 years. Like, he's not just going to magically become a thing.
So would you say he's evaporated milk?
Yeah, that's what I would say. I mean, if anything, he's just going to be out there running routes and taking away targets from guys we actually want to get the ball. So I don't.
What about a cost now? I mean, the cost is so cheap now. Do you throw a dart and just see?
Yeah, I mean, there are other guys that I like. Sky Moore more. I like Elijah Moore. I like all the Moores.
Anyone named Moore, basically.
Yeah, I think those guys, like, what's Michael?
I agree with that sentiment.
So yeah, I mean, people always talk about how, well, he's free. It's like, well, no, like, when you take Michael Thomas, he's taking up a roster spot from someone that could actually be useful in your lineup. So for me, I'm not drafting Michael Thomas. I mean, until he fall. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not enamored with Michael Thomas as a veteran player.
Yeah, I don't think I'm doing that either. Again, it would have to be just an extreme discount where he was just left for free towards the end of a draft. And so far, that's not really what's happening. I feel like it's going in that other direction now, which is not fun. Let's go to Lyndon Juden Kelly. Zeke or Dalvin Cook? Pretty easy for me. I'm going to take Dalvin Cook because he looked a lot better than Zeke did last year. And I think he's got a little bit more potential to touch the football, at least in the first 6 weeks, than Zeke does. Your thoughts, Abe?
I'm going to take a starting running back, so that's Dalvin Cook.
What's your Breece Hall take nowadays? I've gotten in ever since Cook signed and everyone's soured on Breece Hall. I've been jumping in everywhere.
Well, I mean, I haven't seen his price go down. Like, people still draft him in the middle of round 4. So,
I have. Speaking of price going down on running backs, we've got a jersey giveaway for you. Yeah, you like jersey giveaways? How about a Josh Jacobs jersey? Oh, look at that! Isn't that glorious? Somebody should wear this jersey this year during football season. Why not you? Josh Jacobs autographed jersey can be yours. All you have to do is drop a comment below, drop your question, be a subscriber of our YouTube channel, which just hit over 200,000 subs. We love you. You're the best. This is really an amazing thing to be a part of here. And don't forget to like the stream too. You click the bell till it goes ding. That way we can notify you if you're won. And that's it. That's all you got to do to win that Jacobs jersey. Look, and the Raiders jerseys are cool. Whether you like the Raiders or don't like the Raiders, the silver and black is cool. I'm sorry. It looks badass. Ice Cube made it look badass back in the day. It's still badass now in 2023. I'm sorry. It looks cool. Hopefully Josh Jacobs will be back soon. What about the Jacobs situation too, since we're talking about it? I know you just did a video. Josh Jacobs may or may not be in it for those people who haven't seen it. But the Jacobs drama continues to go crazy. And over the last 10 years, there's been only one guy that led the league in workload and put in a full season the next year and was good, who was a true RB1, and that was Zeke in 2018. Everybody else either missed significant time or performed well below expectations. So what are your expectations for Josh Jacobs in 23?
Look, last year was the year to be drafting Josh Jacobs, and a lot of us missed the boat. So don't be caught trying to chase the dragon from last year this year. Like, this is not the year to draft Josh Jacobs. Like, you missed it, and you just got to take the L and move on. That's what I did.
I think
and
you're
I'm done.
right.
So I missed out on Josh Jacobs. Moving on, and this year is not the year to draft him because he's still going in the top 3 rounds. He's still ranked as a top 10 running back, but the situation is still not great with the Las Vegas Raiders. He doesn't want to be there. He's literally tweeted out on multiple occasions he doesn't care about our fantasy team. Like, why do we want to back this guy? We don't. So Josh Jacobs for me is like my number 1 bust candidate this year. So I'm not touching him with a 10-foot pole, and I don't think it's anything like the Jonathan Taylor situation, to be totally honest, because I think if he comes back, I think they're going to use other running backs more than they did last year. I think they like Zamir White and how he's progressed in year 2. I don't like Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback. He can't stay healthy.
I'm out on the Raiders, just generally speaking. It's funny. Josh Jacobs I met years ago when he was a rookie at the Fantasy Sports and Gaming Association meetings. Remember, he was there at that. So I don't know why he hates our fantasy team, because he really liked the buffet. The buffet was out there. He didn't seem to care too much about that. Like, he was eating the food and hanging out with everybody. So I don't know why he doesn't like our fantasy teams. I mean, free lunch. I like a free lunch. You like a free lunch, Erickson? You a free lunch guy?
Yes.
Who could say no to a free lunch? John loves a free lunch too. I know John loves free lunch. It's a good time. Thumbs up on the free lunches. All right, let's get to more questions here. Let's get to Admira Nida. What are the top 5 defenses according to schedule and talent? Those are 2 different questions here. Erickson, go ahead. Give the schedule defense that you and Derek Brown fight over every single draft we do. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's the New Orleans Saints. They have the best schedule, and from a real life perspective, I think that they're at least like an average or above average defense. So, like, it's really all about with DSTs. It's who the quarterback you're facing, and I think week 1 they play. Who is it? They play week
Texans?
1.
Is that's playing
no,
the Texans?
That's Baltimore.
No, that's Baltimore playing the Texans.
Baltimore
right?
plays the Texans.
Well, I'll answer the rest.
They're playing the Titans. They're playing Ryan
Titans.
Tannehill. They're playing like probably the worst offensive line in the NFL. That's like missing starters. So yeah, you feel pretty good about the Saints. And then they play Bryce Young in week 2, and Bryce Young has not looked great behind Carolina's offensive line so far. So
favorite defensive values goes like this, Admira. I love the Cowboys defense again this year because they create turnovers. You want defenses that create turnovers and get to the quarterback. Because if you get to the quarterback, guess what? You create turnovers because they rush the football out and they make bad decisions, or they hit the quarterback and the football comes out and that's a fumble recovery. All kinds of fun things can happen there when you get after the quarterback and you put pressure on the quarterback. So give me the Cowboys defense, the Eagles defense early. I'm willing to even not wait to the last round. I want to go a little earlier. After that, you find the Patriots defense comes at a really nice value. The Jets defense comes at a really nice value. Those are 2 defenses that are also going to create turnovers, get to the quarterback. A little cheaper than the other 2, but again, you get what you pay for. Those other 2 play in the NFC, where you have a really good situation. I know everyone's going to tell me the 49ers defense. Yes, I'm a little worried about the 49ers offense, taxing the 49ers defense, and Nick Bosa is still not a happy camper, so I don't know what the hell's going on there. So give me the Cowboys, give me the Eagles, then give me in the mid-range, give me the Patriots, give me the Jets, and then later, the Chiefs defense, they get after the quarterback, create turnovers too.
I like the Commanders late. They play Arizona week 1, and the Commanders, I think, have a good defensive line.
Yeah. Again, I'm not the streaming defense guy. I'm the guy that locks in a defense and is happy for the points they give me every single week. Let's get to another question here on our board, and we have Pablo Santesteban. That's a good name. Pablo Santesteban.
That's fun.
Hello, I am Pablo Santesteban, and you are not. If my name was Pablo Santesteban, I would constantly say my full name all the time. It's an amazing name. Which is the best tight end? Waller in the 5th, Goddard in the 7th, Njoku or Higbee in the 10th in a 10-team PPR. I think I know Andrew's answer, but I want to hear him say it.
It's Waller. Easy.
I had Waller go in a draft before Hawkinson last night, and I think that's stupid.
Well, I mean, because people are finally catching on.
But are they catching on or putting themselves in a huge
risk?
Waller's still a risk to stay healthy for 17 games.
Right. But again, I'm not going to draft him in the 4th round. Like, I got my Waller bags packed and ready to go from round 7 and 8.
I got my Darren Waller bags packed and ready.
Like, I'm not chasing him up the board that high. I mean, he was.
You and Darren Waller have a timeshare in Boca. Is that what you guys are doing? Yeah, the whole thing there.
Yeah, when he misses a bunch of games, that's where we're gonna hang out.
I was gonna say he's gonna have a lot of time there. It's like, look, the whole point with Waller, the reasoning behind Waller is that it was good at ADP. Once it starts crushing that threshold of ADP, again, he went over Kittle, over Pitts, and over Hawkinson in the draft I was in yesterday. And that's just absurd to me. Like, I think that's wrong. So yeah, I mean, Waller in the 5th, is that too early? I think that's too early too. I think 5th round is too early for Waller, don't you?
Not a 10 team, because a 10 team, I really want to get a tight end that can be a difference maker. So
All
I
right,
will
that's
be,
fine.
I
You want to
will
lock
take a
that in, supply
premium.
demand. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, I see your game, Erickson. All right, let's get to Ghost 4466. Ekeler or Etienne? This is not close. I don't
Ekeler.
know. I mean,
I
what
love
about
Etienne, and even I know it's Ekeler.
Oh, look, yeah, it's Ekeler. Omar M. Hey guys. Well, what about in a dynasty situation? Obviously, you want Etienne, right? The younger
Yeah,
guy.
yeah,
Okay.
Dynasty, yeah.
Omar M. Hey guys, half PPR, 3 wide receiver, 1 flex going, best player available. Pick 2. Jamar, Mixon, Burrow. So I'm taking 2 of these guys. I'm taking Jamar. I'm taking Burrow. I mean, I want that stacked together. Like, am I crazy here? No. I mean,
So is he taking Burrow in the 2nd round? Is that what's happening here?
I guess is he saying he wants to do all 3?
Oh, no. I mean, keep the Bengals are an offense you want pieces of.
Yeah.
So yeah, keep those guys. I think it's
Yeah,
fine.
but the best 2 are Burrow and and Chase.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
Stephen Monetti, pick 2. DeeBo, Godwin, Mike Williams. I don't want to pick any, so I'm gonna let Erickson do it. I don't want any of these guys.
But that's not an option. So
Yes,
you're gonna have to.
Yes, I'm gonna just refuse. I'm just not gonna do it.
It's DeeBo and Godwin for me.
The answer is DeeBo and Godwin. Yes, I agree, but I don't want these guys. This is a bad situation, Steven. You need to make this better. 217 frags. Jahmyr Gibbs or Mark Andrews full PPR. Go.
Andrews for me. You're on mute still.
I know. I was coughing. I didn't want to ruin it for all the people. This is called professionalism, Erickson. See, when you have to cough, you've been talking for 6 hours today. You put the cough button on, and then you go back to what's going on. So you said Andrews over Gibbs. I would agree. Jeff Gilman, thoughts on Rhamondre Stevenson workload with Zeke there? Can he be RB1 in PPR redraft? And then Chase and Devontae are my receivers. Look, I have zero. Look at this. These are my concerns. There they are. There's zero concerns about Rhamondre. I just don't. Like, yeah, the Patriots always have somebody else that they're going to trade off with and give some touches. And maybe Zeke early on will fall in the end zone a little bit. I don't expect this to be some kind of running back by committee nonsense. Last time I checked, the guy had 69 receptions last year. Like, I'm going right back to Rhamondre Stevenson. And if you're giving me a discount, great. I'll take it. Erickson, I think everyone's a little panicked about the Zeke signing. It is not 2017 here. This is 2023. It's a whole new day. What are your thoughts on this?
No, I mean, I'm not worried about Zeke at all. I think that he's better than what they had behind Rhamondre, and he provides a decent complement. He can do a lot of things that are good for coaches, like pass block. But like that doesn't mean like Rhamondre is the best player on their offense. Like if they have any chance to win games, it's because of Rhamondre Stevenson. It's not because Devontae Parker and like a billion tight ends and Kendrick Bourne. Like Rhamondre Stevenson is the best player on the Patriots offense, and it's not even close. And Bill Belichick knows it, so I'm not worried. I'm that's why like Stevenson, if he's in round 4, I'm like, oh my god, like I can't like press the draft button quick enough if he falls that far.
All right, let's get to another question here. Before we do, I want to remind everybody too, we have a very cool thing called Discord, fantasypros.com/chat, where you can go in and get questions like this answered all throughout the week. Premium subscribers, obviously, to Fantasy Pros at fantasypros.com/premium, you can upgrade today. They get access to a whole lot more channels, but if you just want to get in there, you want to find some leagues, you want to run some mock drafts with some friends there, you want to, just get a feel for what the Discord is like. It's free. It's fantasypros.com/chat. Check it out. It is an incredible community of people there. I mean, really, I've got some of those people that I'm playing in leagues with now because I enjoy their company. They're hilarious. They're really smart people. We have a really good rapport, really good time. And I think that's the beauty of fantasy football, right? Is you get this amazing community of people who are so diverse. It's men, it's women, it's old, it's young, it's everybody from different parts of the country and people from not of this country. And it's amazing. And we have the best time talking football, playing in leagues against each other, doing mock drafts against each other. So go check it out for free and then go sign up. And, if you like it, go premium. And then you get access to stages all year long to really help you out with your leagues. So let's move on to some more of your questions here. Again, if you've got questions, we've got answers. Drop them below in the chat. and we will respond to you and do our best to get to as many as we can. Let's go to Craig Michael. My dad always said, never trust somebody with 2 first names. Do you agree with that, Erickson? Don't trust somebody with 2 first names?
There was a football player that had 2 first names that I was very,
There's a
very
lot of them.
skeptical. No, there was like one specific person that I was like, man, like you can't trust this guy.
Yeah.
His name is
Now,
escaping
look,
me.
nothing
But
against you, Craig. I'm just saying. Maybe throw an S at the end of that Michael. Maybe I feel a little bit more like I can trust you. Dynasty League, who would you rather have, Jefferson or Bijan and Olave? Oh, this is a tough one right here. Erickson, Dynasty, Jefferson on one side. This is like the red pill and the blue pill, or Bijan and Olave in the other. Which one are you picking? Pick one.
man, Jefferson seems kind of like one of those unattainable assets, but if that's like the package, I think that's a fair return. So the way that how bad running backs are and just how like their shelf life is just, I think I'd probably just take the Bijan side because you get Olave too, and Olave is a really good, strong asset.
I think I do too. Look, this is a haul. Bijan and Olave. Also, you've got Bijan as a rookie. You've got Olave as a second-year player. And look, I said the same thing. I don't know how long Derek Carr is going to be there, but I certainly don't know how long Kirk Cousins is. And that feels like that's going to come to a head much faster. So I'm a little concerned there. Look, Jefferson's still top of the pops, man. I mean, but this is a haul. And I think in Dynasty, I want the bodies. I want the 2 elite younger guys there in Bijan and Olave. But look, if you want Jefferson side, I ain't mad at you. Like, this is a win for everybody. It's just a matter of perspective. Hamish, I got the 5th pick in a 12-team Superflex, half PPR. What would be your strategy? With the 5th pick overall, I'm still going quarterback there. Then what I'm like to do is go top wide receiver on the board. Hopefully you can get somebody, I'm sure Diggs will be in that range. Amon-Ra St. Brown will be in that range. You're definitely going to probably get a look at CeeDee Lamb will be in that range. AJ Brown, all those guys. And then in the 3rd round, I'm going the best player available that makes it back to me. That's my strategy. What's yours here for Hamish?
No, I agree. I mean, picking 5th, so you're still going to have your pick of some of whatever elite quarterbacks are left. So there's still a lot of great options. So you're probably looking more like the Burrow, Herbert, Justin Fields tier, but like I don't really see like that big of a drop off, honestly, from the other tier of quarterbacks. So I feel fine with that. And then just going best player, running back, or wide receiver. If it's a receiver run and you can get Nick Chubb, it's like, fine, I'll take a running back. And if not, go wide receiver. So I agree with what your strategy is.
And if you're having fun here, make sure you like the stream. It's very easy. That's all you got to do. Like the stream and subscribe to Fantasy Pros. We're here all the time getting stuff done. That's what we do. Let's go to the next question here. Let's see. We just did Hamish's. Let's talk to Bill. Bill 1293. What's the earliest to take Waller in a 12-team league? Is 5th round too early? We just kind of had that conversation there about Waller. In a 12-team league, I think 5th round is too early. I'm sorry. There's too much other talent on the board in those top 75 picks that I think I just feel better about than Waller. But Andrew, do you agree or disagree?
So I've been high on Waller throughout the entire offseason,
Yes.
like entering draft season. So like where I've had him ranked is like my 60th overall player. So I've been feeling I've never had to draft him there because he's always been going later. But that's where I feel as someone that's been really high on Waller, and I'm not continuing to move him up because everything I thought about him is being confirmed. Like I'm not just moving him up to double count how I felt about Darren Waller. So I have him 60th. So end of round 5. Really, honestly, it's round 6. Like that's where I think he should be drafted. So if you are reaching on him at the beginning of round 5, I think you're really just chasing the steam. And now you're, like Joe talked about, now you're taking on way more of the risk that Darren Waller comes with of his injuries. Because as high as I've been on Waller, I still have to acknowledge that. And this is what happens. This is what results in bust players is when they get steamed up too much. And then it's like they can't break out anymore because they're already breaking out based on their ADP. So like you gain no advantage anymore by chasing the steam. So I really want him in round 6. I think that round 5 is probably just too aggressive. Now, maybe in a smaller format, like an 8-team or 10-teamer, maybe a little bit higher, but in a 12-team league, I think it's really round 6 is really the sweet spot, and I wouldn't go higher than that.
Well, ADP is caught up to you because on fantasypros.com right now, I'm looking at the consensus ADP, and he is at what? 60. So I want to ask you a question. We're going to play the game. Who would you rather have? And yes, this is in a vacuum. So we'll just have some fun with it. Jerry Jeudy or Darren Waller, who would you rather have this year?
Jeudy.
Okay. Drake London, who's also going right ahead of Darren Waller. Who would you rather have?
think it's London. Yeah, it's London for me.
London for me as well. Christian Watson going after Darren Waller now. Who would you rather have?
Yeah, Watson, I was surprised at actually how late he was going. I like Watson more. So I like, especially the value
Me
too.
too.
Yeah, Watson for me.
This is the point we're making, folks. Like, there's some wide receiver talent on the board at this stage where I think you got to let it go. Like, and this is where you pivot and hope that Kyle Pitts, I think what's going to happen is because Waller's gone ahead of Pitts, I think the Pitts stock is going to, take a Pitts
No, it's going down.
It's
Like
going down.
It's going down again. So
And
yeah,
guess what? It's going to keep going down, and I'm going to keep buying it as it goes.
Well, yeah, because I think now when I'm looking at the tight end board, now Pitts is looking like the value that Waller once was, a couple months ago. So yeah.
Bingo. Exactly right. All right, let's get to the next one here. Let's get to Omar M. Hey guys, half PPR, 3 wide receiver, 1 flex, going best player available. Pick 2. I get. We already did that one. Get twice. Just stop. We'll get to it. Don't worry about it. We'll get to you. Let's go to Julian Craig, another person with 2 first names. Standard scoring. Who are you taking second overall?
Chase.
Yes. Jefferson, Chase. See, that's the whole thing to me. Yards are yards, touchdowns are touchdowns. This notion that it has to be a running back is fakakta. I don't know why everybody.
Chase is the best player. Just draft Chase. Like,
just take Chase and Jefferson at the top, and don't worry about like the format so much. Like, if you're in a standard league, I still want, like, would you rather have Tyreek Hill or Bijan this year? Just out of curiosity. Let's say half PPR.
Bijan.
Okay. That like, those are the conversations when you start getting down to 4 and 5, you can start having those conversations. But the top 2 players are still the top 2 players, I think, regardless this year. So we see that the same way. Vigilante, great character, by the way, from, did you watch the show with John Cena? I don't know how much shows you watch there, but it was really good. This is one of the ancillary characters from, what was it, for the guys from Suicide Squad. He played Peacemaker. It was very good. Very funny show. Do you like the Guardians of the Galaxy? James Gunn did it. Do you like that?
Guardians of the Galaxy, yeah.
Okay, then you're going to like Peacemaker. It's wacky. It's bizarre. It's dark, funny. It's very good. Vigilante character, very funny. So he's got, apparently Vigilante, huge fantasy football nerd. Would you rather go Kelcee or Olave or Bijan and Andrews? That's interesting.
Bijan and Andrews.
Bijan and Andrews? I like Kelcee and Olave myself as a duo. But yeah, this is a tough one. See, I want to go Bijan and wide receiver. Like, can I split the difference? Can I go Bijan and Olave? Can I do that instead? Because I think.
I mean, I guess for me, I think that the difference that Bijan can give you over Olave, I think, is bigger than Kelcee over Andrews. That's just me.
I think here's my whole thing with this is that I don't see Andrews as a second round player. I just don't. Not in the current constitution of what that offense is going to be. I think Zay Flowers makes that much of a difference. I really do. And I'm going to die on this hill one way or another. Olave, I love. He's more of a 3rd round guy. So I'm fine with taking Kelcee in the middle of 1st round. I'd rather have Bijan, I think, still. That's still where my rankings are. But I got to tell you, this whole thing where you have to, like, if you miss out on Kelcee, you have to take Andrews. That's a bunch of nonsense. Like, you just don't have to do that. Tight end, there's definitely some bodies there. And even late, I think this recent injury to Treylon Burks, the Chig Okonkwo value to me has really skyrocketed potentially for the first 6 weeks of the season. And that dude is free, Erickson. He is a free tight end. That dude is big. He is fast. He's got good hands. You saw some flashes last year. What do you think about Chig Okonkwo late if you're just going to kind of let tight end come to you instead?
Yeah, I know that. I think that Chig had actually pulled up in one of the practices, so I'm not exactly sure what his health status is. But I mean, the Titans wide receivers are going down left and right, essentially. So I like Chig. I was down on him obviously after they signed Hopkins, but now that there are other injuries, it's like, well, he's kind of the next guy up, and his ADP doesn't necessarily reflect that there are injuries around him. So yeah, now that he's back kind of like in the late round tight end territory, yeah. I mean, if I'm going late round tight ends, he's definitely going to be one of the guys I'm drafting along with 1 or 2 other players just to kind of see, all right, who can break out when I go full on late round tight end.
And don't forget to go draft at Fantasy Pros Championship, FFPC, fantasypros.com/championship. That's the place to go sign up. Use that promo code FantasyPros. Get $25 off your entry. $6 million prize pool and the grand prize, $1 million. But you can only get involved if you sign up. Spots are going fast. There's only so many of them. Erickson's league's already filled up. DeeBo's league's already filled up. Everyone's league's filled up. FantasyPros.com/championship. Get involved, get the discount, and go win yourself some money. We also got fabulous prizes we're giving away as well. I love a fabulous prize. All right, let's go to Trey Hernandez. Mixon or Stevenson? Erickson, who do you like?
Stevenson.
Agreed. Let's go to B. McCall 222. Barkley at $38 or Rachaad White at $8.
That value is really good with Rachaad White, $8.
Is that value really good, or is that value theoretically good?
Yeah, I mean, usually, yeah, it's like, well, I wish there was more of like I don't know what the entire budget is, so I don't understand what the percentage
Well,
is.
here's my point is, like, Barkley's premium at 38, but still a little under cost anyway. Not much, but still slightly under cost. I know what Barkley is. I'd rather take the premium guy and know what he is than take the $8 guy just to get a discount. Because what if he's not? And also, think about this. You got to think about who else is going to be out on that board.
Yeah,
Bacall.
you can probably just get White cheap anyway.
Yeah, like you could probably get White in that draft
yeah.
anyway. Getting Barkley back at 38 would be harder. So I would keep Barkley.
Yeah,
BBB 333. Who would I get with the 7th pick? I mean, look, this is kind of like, it's 7. Here, let's run through. You ready, Erickson? You ready? Here we go. Chase, gone. AJ, gone. McCaffrey, gone. Eckler's probably gone. Kelcee's probably gone. You're looking at Hill, Kupp, Bijan. I think you're guaranteed one of these guys. To me, that's perfectly fine. I would take Hill. I would take Bijan. I would take Kupp. That's my order. What's yours?
I'd take Nick Chubb.
Really?
I'd take Nick Chubb or Bijan.
See, I can't get there because Nick Chubb's not going to catch the football the way Bijan can. Bijan can catch the football. That's not his strong suit, Nick Chubb. No offense to Nicky Chubb.
Nick Chubb can catch the football.
He can. It's not going to be his MO, and not with Elijah Moore working out of the backfield and out of the slot. Elijah Moore's going to get a ton of work this year. Anthony Miles Robbins, super draft, 4th pick. I love a super draft. If the big 3 QBs are gone, who are you taking? I'm taking the 4th big QB.
Lamar. Easy.
I don't think this year. I think you have to go into Lamar and Burrow before you consider JJ and Chase in Superflex this year. I think you have to take one of those elite quarterbacks. It's just the way the board looks. And here's the reason why. In the league this year, you have a ton of rookie quarterbacks. In the league this year, you have a ton of second-year unproven quarterbacks. In the league, you have everybody from Jordan Love to Kenny Pickett to Bryce Young to CJ Stroud, Sam Howell. Like, we're trying to figure out who these guys are. They're trying to figure out who they are. That's really tough in Superflex because you're just throwing darts later on these guys. Gone are the days of the boring old Phillip Rivers stand in the pocket 4,200-yard quarterbacks that you could just fall back in late in Superflex. Like, those dudes are gone. Derek Carr, Jared Goff, that's it. Those are the last 2 in that QB2 range. Everybody else it's a hot mess. You're throwing darts all over the place. So be careful. Be very careful. Kenneth Alexander, also 2 first names. Juwan Johnson or Gerald Everett or Tyler Higbee. Pick one.
I like Gerald Everett.
Gerald Everett. Why?
Because he's Justin Herbert's number 1 tight end, red zone option, and all those receivers are glass.
I had a good experience picking up Juwan Johnson in some deeper leagues last year when I was streaming tight end. But you're probably right on Everett. He's probably the better investment, but I don't think Juwan's a bad one. Tony Montes traded Diggs for Christian Watson in a 2nd round in Dynasty. I love this trade in Dynasty. This is the peak time to get out on Diggs. I did a similar deal where I traded Devontae Adams and I got a number 1 in Keenan Allen. This is what you do. You flip these guys when they get to 30, 31 years old, when they're 9, 10 years in the league, and you go draft the next one. I think you did well here. I think Tony did real well. Watson at a 2nd. That sounds pretty good to me. What do you think?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a good return for Diggs, who's a depreciating asset, and it's sometimes tough to get rid of those guys, even though he does have some value this year. Looking up next year, if Watson has a big breakout, Watson could be worth more than Diggs just vis-a-vis. So I think it's a good trade.
Just vis-a-vis. I like that. Just vis-a-vis. Can we get that on a shirt at Fantasy Pro Shop? I like
no, we're still trying to get the Chubb Club. We got to get that.
I was told the Chubb Club shirt was happening. I'm waiting. Okay. I want to wear the Chubb Club shirt on the show. I saw a picture of it, so I feel like it's in process. I feel like it's happening. But in the meantime, maybe we can give away a jersey instead, and that's that Josh Jacobs jersey that we're going to give to one of you. All you have to do is go ahead right now, subscribe to Fantasy Pros YouTube channel, comment below. Bingo. That's it. That's all you got to do. Drop your questions, and you could win the Josh Jacobs jersey. Don't forget, though, to click the bell till it goes ding so you know when the piece of content drops. And if you are the big winner because that's how you'll be notified. So go check it out. Josh Jacobs autographed jersey. Looks cool, is cool. Let's keep going here with the questions. Swaggy P, Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow, Erickson?
Lamar Jackson.
Today, it's Lamar. In 2 weeks' time, I think I might be ready to go Joe B again. Chase Hennigan, 2 keepers and half PPR Superflex. Pickens, Cousins, Terry McLaurin, or Metcalf?
I'm going to keep Cousins and DK Metcalf.
I agree. What do you think of this McLaurin injury, too? This one scares me because whenever you have these feet injuries, they tend to linger even when they come back because they don't get that burst that they usually do. Like, was it turf toe? Is that what we're official on McLaurin? See, the turf toe to me, that's like a killer. That's like a 6-week injury, even though they're playing still.
Turf toe is what I got when I messed up my toe when we played flag football like 2 years ago, and my toe is like black.
You mean when we won the championship in the Fantasy Pros
Yes.
League when the East Coast won? Yes,
my
I
foot
recall.
was messed up for a very long time.
Yeah.
And it's very painful. And
so was my finger. I can't show you which finger it was because I'll probably get fired. But yeah.
Honestly,
Erickson still clocked touchdowns though. You did.
I think that I was kind of like in my mind, I was thinking about Jahan Dotson like potentially outscoring McLaurin, and now I just feel even more confident in saying that. Like,
I like
Jahan Dotson was a first-round pick. Like, Jahan Dotson's been a monster every time he's been stepping on the field, and even in this preseason game, McLaurin comes out. What happens? Oh, friggin' Jahan Dotson gets peppered with targets, scores another touchdown. All this guy does is score touchdowns and score fantasy points. It's like we're like outside the top 40 wide receiver. Like, I'm like all in on Jahan Dotson. So yeah.
Jahan Dotson, unfortunately didn't have the tape that you would hope. And that's because his senior year at Penn State, all the quarterbacks got hurt. The first string, the second string. They were playing with 3rd and 4th string quarterbacks at times. And I was watching these games going, I would just feel bad for him. You'd see them throw balls in his direction and he would just be running routes and just throwing his hands up because he couldn't get to anything. And then I saw him at the combine and I went, wow, Jahan Dotson is really good. I almost forgot. I had to be reminded of it. But I'm with you, man. And he is cheap right now. You have a guess of where Jahan Dotson ADP is right now? You want
he's
to take a hot guess?
He's probably outside the top 40 receivers.
He is right at 38 right now. 38.
So I have him inside my top 30.
Okay. So, all right. Let's continue on with these questions here. Let's get a couple in. JB, keep 2. CD Lamb, Justin Jefferson, McCaffrey, Tony Pollard. Wow.
Jeez.
Wow.
I'm doing Jefferson and McCaffrey.
See, if you can keep these forever, I'm keeping Jefferson and CD Lamb because I can keep them forever and just churn and burn running backs for the next 3 years.
Forever. Yeah, then Lamb and Jefferson.
It seems like a forever kind of thing. DeMar Brooks, thoughts on Deuce Vaughn? He's adorable. That's my thing. He is adorable. He is tiny. I want to put him in my pocket. I want to take him with me wherever he's like one of those Tamagotchi things.
Tariq Cohen 2.0. I mean, that's what I'm getting. I mean, Tariq Cohen, remember
you can't draft Deuce Vaughn, can you?
I mean, I think in like a 14-team league, if you draft Tony
Maybe
Pollard,
a 14-teamer, yeah.
I think it makes sense to put Deuce Vaughn on. I just think that, I mean, Tony Pollard's not going to get 300 carries this year. So, like, someone else is going to, and like Rico Dowdle, Malik Day, like, are we really going to, is it really going to be one of these guys? Like, probably not. So, like, Deuce Vaughn. All
right, let's go to Justin Sorge. Hey, guys, draft 2 and redraft full PPR. Amon-Ra, Garrett Wilson, Tony Pollard, A.J. Brown. I would rank these guys, A.J. Brown, Amon-Ra, Garrett Wilson, Tony Pollard. I know Erickson probably disagrees. He probably has Pollard higher. But your thoughts?
No, not against those.
Really?
Not against the Brown brothers.
No,
Brown and St. Brown.
Those guys are.
Pollard's probably. He's either last or second to last with Garrett Wilson. So
was there a bigger Tony Pollard fan than me last year at the ADP? I mean, you must have been sick to death of hearing me talk about Tony Pollard's draft value. This year, it's second round. It's still good, but I'm seeing people every now and then in some of these drafts, they just start reaching a little early, and it's a little scary. Tony McRae, why isn't Deion Jackson being drafted higher? Isn't he the pass catching back? He's not being drafted higher because that situation is so fluid that nobody knows what it is right now. So you don't spend draft capital on guys you don't have to. That's what budget for is in Fab. That's what waiver wire picks are for. Your draft is for taking talent. Get all the talent you need first. Deion Jackson is not talent. He is a piece you have to execute if something goes wrong. That's the answer to that. DeMar Brooks. Here's another one. Thoughts on Rachaad Bateman or Chase Claypool in full PPR? Gross.
Bateman.
That's my thoughts. Bateman for you. I'll take a hard pass on both. Do something else, DeMar. do something else. KTA916, keeper question, full PPR. Tyreek Hill in the 3rd, Josh Allen in the 4th, Hawkinson in the 7th, Miles Sanders in the 9th. I can pick 2. I'm taking Tyreek Hill in the 3rd. I'm taking Josh Allen in the 4th. Let's go win a championship.
I can, yeah, exactly.
This
concur.
is not hard. KTA, don't blow this, okay? Go get the Draft Wizard software. Go sync your league because you are ready to rock, okay? You got Josh Allen in the 4th round. That's a great value there. You got Tyreek Hill in the 3rd round, which is an insane value. Crush these first 2 picks and go out there and win a championship, all right? All right, that's what we're going to do. Let's go do Bill Cushman. I'm picking 4th in a full PPR. Who should I take? We already kind of went through those 4, so shall we again? Chase, JJ, who do you like 3rd?
I thought it was 4th.
I know. I'm trying to go through the names.
Oh, McCaffrey.
McCaffrey's still your 3rd. Bijan is 4 for me, or Tyreek Hill. I'm less of a McCaffrey guy, so that's the thing for me. Everyone loves McCaffrey. I'm less of a McCaffrey.
I mean, I took Bijan 4th in flex, so that's. I mean, I originally was like all about Cooper Kupp, but then he like hurt his hamstring, and now I'm terrified. So,
well, rightfully so. But it's not like Cooper Kupp was always the picture of health before the 2,000-yard season.
Well, the thing is, like, he's scored more points over the last two years per game,
but like that's going to come down on the field.
That's going to come down. Like it can't go up. So it can't
possibly go up. JM Maynard, pick 2 between Josh Allen, Amon-Ra, Jalen Waddle. And they have the first pick taking Bijan Robinson. Well done. Okay, I'm taking Josh and I'm taking Amon-Ra.
Yep.
Yeah? Okay, there we go. So Josh Allen, Amon-Ra, Bijan Robinson. That's a hell of a start to a team right there. Tim Sawyer, the real question is if Joe has tickets to Taylor Swift but has 2 drafts the same night, which does he show up for? He shows up to Taylor Swift and he drafts at the concert. Because everything's mobile now. It's on the Sleeper app. I got a little app there. I'm drafting there. Usually I have to give Taylor my full attention most of the time. I know she expects that of me. But the Taylor Swift concert was very fun. We had a good time. My daughters, it was almost a religious experience for them. I think I could say it was a big deal. But yes, that's a good question. You have to look. Yeah, you have to know. Don't schedule a draft on a day where I'm going to Taylor Swift. Misty Pines. If Jonathan Taylor gets traded, where do you guys think he ends up? I mean, if you had one landing spot for him, what would it be?
I mean, honestly, it's going to depend on someone getting hurt. Like, that's really, like, I don't think a team is going to pay unless they need to. Like, why else would they? So I'll throw it out here. Dark horse. If one of those Lions running backs goes down, I would say he goes to Detroit.
I could see that. They're all in.
Yep.
I mean, you really want to think outside the box. Like, if you're the Bears, you go. You trade Roschon and a pick for Jonathan Taylor and just try to go right into the thick of it right away if you're the Bears and challenge right away with the Packers being weak this year or weaker. I don't know. Like that's the thing. Like there's no landing spot that really jumps out at me.
It's because there's no market for running. Like again, like people are seeing this as he's going to get traded, but
the Dolphins should do it. To be honest with you,
well, the Dolphins
should.
Well, I guess
if you want to keep Tua upright. Jonathan Taylor is a really good situation. The problem is that offensive line is not great either.
Well, why didn't... Again, remember, Austin Ekeler was in the same situation. They said, go find a trade. And he's like, there's nothing here. That happened.
Here you go. Here's your keys.
Like, why would
Can I do that like with a car? Like I have a Chevy Equinox, right? Can I just go like, hey, I'd like a Lamborghini. And can I go look for one? And then eventually they say, no, you can't have one. And then they just give me the keys to my old car again. Is that what I do?
I guess. I don't know.
All right.
But yeah, I don't know. Miami.
Miami makes sense, but I don't think they have the will to do it right now.
They also have like 12,000 running backs.
You know what else makes sense? Tampa. I'm sorry. This Rachaad White experiment thing, are we all getting involved? Like this to me is becoming lazy fantasy, Erickson. You know, I hate lazy fantasy. Like, I don't know what about Rachaad White excites you or anybody.
Good. He's a good running back. Yes.
Good? He's okay.
He was good enough to put Leonard Fournette on the bench last year.
And that's supposed to impress me.
There are plenty of rookie running backs that can never get on the field because they're behind veterans. They can't even sniff the field.
Leonard Fournette wasn't exactly, lighting it up last year either. Like, again, I'm just not excited about anybody in Tampa. I am miserable about Tampa. Miso, who are your favorite late-round QBs? Late-round QBs, Erickson, who do you like?
Richardson, Geno Smith, Kenny Pickett.
I like Kirk Cousins. I like Deshaun Watson. I like Geno Smith. Those are my late round QBs that I like there. And you can get one or two of them. They're free. Ryan C. Where are you taking Richardson? Speaking of Richardson, his single quarterback 12-team league.
I would take him as early as round 8, but I don't think that is where his ADP is. So probably around like round 9, actually.
All right, fair enough. Danny Lynch, thoughts on Love and Lance this year in a 2-quarterback PPR league? Go ahead. Love and Lance.
Well, Lance is like the third string quarterback on his team, so not good. Love has a really good schedule. Like he plays a lot of pretty bad defenses to start the year, so I think that he's okay. But Lance,
here's a question. I had my bold prediction on the microcast today, or one of them, was that no quarterback for the 49ers plays double-digit games this year. What do you think of that?
I mean, the way that system works, they leave them
Right?
sitting ducks. So
Right? Like, I'm just saying, like, does anybody get to 10 games? I don't think Purdy does. I don't think
they'll start
Lance
more
does.
quarterbacks than total starts by any of the quarterbacks.
I agree. I tell you, watch. There's a part of me that almost says, maybe everybody should watch the Rams in the betting market a little bit in that NFC West, just because. Like, what if Stafford and Kupp stay healthy and they just run it again? I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
I got my bags packed to Seattle.
You got your bags at Seattle? I don't know if I can get there yet, but I don't know. I mean, what a story that would be, right? The Rams all of a sudden relevant again. All right, let's do a couple more here from Aha. Keeper league trade offer receive. This is an offer they received. I give Jalen Hurts 6th round value for Rhamondre Stevenson 9th round value. No, you keep Jalen Hurts in the 6th round value. Michael S. I was offered a trade Hurts and Pittman for Chase full PPR.
I want Chase.
And your quarterback is Tua right now. I want Chase too. So if you have to move Hurts and Pittman to get Chase, I'm fine with that.
Yep.
And if you have Chase, just sit on it. Dalton Vincic, pardon me. Can we move Dalvin Cook up in ADP, or is it still going to be the Breece Hall show? I still think it's going to be the Breece Hall show, but the show's not going to officially open till the end of September.
I mean, I don't know what else we need to see with this Breece Hall situation to be like, this is not going to work out favorably. Like you can bet, okay, yeah, he'll be great in like October, November, and December. Like, how can we be so sure about that? That's months away. Like, there's so many different things that could happen between now and then.
Devil's advocate. You ready? Devil's advocate. How many times have we seen running backs at this stage in Dalvin Cook's career go to that second team and really be good fantasy-wise? Doesn't happen that often.
No, it doesn't. But
it doesn't happen that often. Usually these guys get moved on from because the league goes, TikTok, it's time, and then they move on.
So then why did the Jets bring him in at all?
Because I think the Jets look at the rest of the guys that they have, and they're like, look, we just made this investment with, if Breece isn't really, we don't want to push Breece, right? Because the last thing you want to do is push him.
But when you're saying like you don't want to push him, like to me that says they don't want him to be a bell cow. So why do I want to draft him in fantasy?
Well, but being a bell cow in September and being a bell cow in December are two different things. I'll put it this way.
One of my
Who has more fantasy points in 2023?
Because I drafted Breece Hall.
Who has more fantasy points in 2023 and all said and done? Breece Hall or Dalvin Cook?
I think it's gonna be pretty even. Honestly.
I think it's gonna be Breece Hall. I think it's gonna be a 2-to-1 ratio. And I think anybody who doesn't draft Breece Hall, I think the fun thing to do is trade for him 3 weeks into the season. I'd be all over trades for him. Let's go to Schwag Hack. Should I keep Etienne in the 3rd or Dameon Pierce in the 6th? Half PPR. Pierce in the 6th, Etienne in the 3rd. See, I would just keep Pierce in the 6th. This is where it's close enough to me where I'll take 3 more rounds of value.
I think that the value is probably just there with Pierce.
Let's do Nate Sugar's question. Nate wants to know, what are you guys' thoughts on Judy this year? In this days of yore, what are your thoughts on Jerry Judy? I have him as my wide receiver 16 in full PPR. Is that too high? I think 16 is a little high.
I like it.
But I don't think it's that far off. I'm in.
I like that.
Let's go to Mad Treed, Fantasy Pros, Lamar Jackson or Justin Fields, 10-team PPR, Erickson.
Lamar Jackson.
Zach Zaruba, help. I have the 5th pick in a 14-team PPR league, 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 3 flex. You love these leagues where it's just all flex now. Do I keep Rhamondre in the 6th, Olave in the 7th? It's Olave in the 7th for me.
Yeah, Olave.
Because you have those flex spots, so you could just keep the board open for yourself. Thomas Foley, Richardson, or Aaron Rodgers? I say, why not both?
I'm not drafting Aaron Rodgers.
I'm just saying, it's like,
Richardson.
if you draft Anthony Richardson, I think it would be stupid not to take one of those free decent quarterbacks that you can lock in on your bench. I just think it's a good practice at this point. Because what if it just doesn't go well? What if it's an unmitigated disaster in September? Like, that's in the range of outcomes, as Derek Brown likes to say. Take Kirk Cousins. Take Jared Goff.
But aren't those guys just on waivers anyway? So why do you have to take them? You can just pick them up anyway.
I don't know, because then you get raked over the coals and it's bye weeks and then somebody else needs a quarterback. And I would just rather, like who's that last guy on your bench? He's never seen the light of day anyway. Let's get a quality guy that you could throw in there. It could be a top 12 quarterback. Kirk Cousins can be. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but he can't be a top 5 quarterback like Richardson. So.
Yeah, but there's a story we could write where Richardson isn't even a top 20 quarterback.
He's going to be a top 20 quarterback.
Right,
Unless he's not running. Like that's the way he fails.
Well,
he
again, you can't run if you ain't playing. Wyatt King is Calvin Ridley. Gardner Minshew, baby. Wyatt King is Calvin Ridley at 3.7 too early. I like him more than DK or Etienne. I'm okay. Look, over DK is a conversation I think that we have to have that's a tough conversation to have. But
I mean, I'm not taking him over either Etienne or DK. So
I would take him over Etienne, but I'm not taking him over DK. But it's just an interesting conversation. A couple more here. David Hathaway. Should I drop Antonio Gibson for Tank Bigsby? No.
I don't know.
No.
Derek Brown might say otherwise.
Well, he ain't here, so he still tell him to stick it. Mike Schoon, Najee, Mixon, Etienne, or Gibbs as your RB1. Najee Etienne. For me. Etienne for him. Alicia Faya. How far would you go for Pollard in a first-year salary cap dynasty draft? What's your price on Pollard?
So this is like a trap play in Dynasty because Pollard is playing a 1-year contract. Like, so they can just churn and burn him this year and then they're done. Careful. So Pollard in Dynasty, like as much as we loved him in redraft, like where he's going, like it's the opposite in Dynasty. Like you do not want to be, honestly, right now would be time to sell Tony Pollard in Dynasty.
It's a great take. I love that. Alicia, spend your money on high-end young wide receivers. Tim Sawyer, Joey Pierre-Erickson, full point PPR.
I'm the receiver, so.
That's true. I am more of the quarterback, but did catch a couple of touchdown passes in the championship, when I was called upon to do extra. With a broken finger, I'm like the Kurt Angle of Fantasy Pros. With a broken freaking finger, caught all the touchdowns. Let's go. Let's see. We'll plow through. David Ross, what round would you draft Dotson in Superflex? 6th round too high? Yes. You can get Dotson later than 6th round, I think. Don't you think? He's going in the 90s right now. Adam Spinella, 10-team PPR. Alvin Kamara for the flex or Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver 2. Judy. And let's go to Batmac Gamming. Oh, we always have Batmac here on the show. Is it crazy to take Bijan at the 101? Yes, it is. It's not necessary. So you shouldn't. He can finish there, but again, that's what it is. So good times here by all. Again, go to fantasypros.com/championship. Get in the fun. Use all this knowledge and these questions and answers we've been doing here and go win yourself $1 million at fantasypros.com/championship. The Fantasy Pros FFPC is open for business. Also, don't forget to join our Discord, fantasypros.com/chat, and leave a comment behind here. Subscribe to Fantasy Pros YouTube channel, and you can win that Josh Jacobs autographed jersey. It's beautiful. It's fantastic. It's awesome. All the things that I always say about Andrew Erickson, my co-host here. So hopefully you guys had fun today. Stay tuned for more amazing content at Fantasy Pros by clicking that little bell right down below there and like the stream at the same time. You click the bell, you like the stream, you
goes ding. There,
boom, and that's all you got to do until it goes ding. Erickson knows what to say. And that's how you do it. That's on top of all your leagues. That's how you win everything. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on. For Andrew Erickson, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.